Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Scott, that's Day, that's Ryan, and this is Tales from the Film Set. Hope you guys are fired up because we're going to be talking about something that I am old enough to remember from my childhood as a late teenager.
Can I do it?
Go for it. Go for it, please.
Y'all ready?
Yes.
It's Morphin time!
Yeah, I would get like Dino Slug.
Yeah, we still choreographed that.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and again, bringing that back into the archives. Once and always. Oh, bollocks on a stick. So once and always, which actually
do it again.
When you look at the the storyline and how it centers around everything. This will be a spoiler-heavy review. Just fair warning on that. This is going to be something that's going to be breaking down the pros, the cons, the likes, the dislikes, anything like that. So, gentlemen, pick whichever one you guys want to go first. I got a feeling it's going to be Day.
Okay, so I did review this film. I reviewed it like I would say throughout the week. Last week, and I have to say I did like how the story went. Only issue is we understand that Trini passed away like how many years?
Oh, a lot of years,
decades ago.
Like roughly after the second season.
And my issue with that is why they didn't do a tribute to her during that time. Besides just making up a story saying, oh yeah, she just went off and disappeared. And now with this, they just say, oh yeah, Trini has a daughter. And it's like, okay, you know how many years this was?
I mean, doing some explanation, but I imagine it's only because it was a kid's show. And God forbid anything back then talk about like death.
But I think we could have handled it, like, because it was all over the news and some of us already knew about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The storylines continued, and you don't know. Maybe they would have thrown something in there where she was off on a different planet or something in that vein, because she was already off the series by that point.
Right.
So, they might have done something. My buddy Rich, who's an aficionado, I wish I could have gotten him on here tonight. He would have been fantastic to know every single nuance. He is just an unbridled savant when it comes to every episode and every line of dialogue. So I should really ask him on that. But as far as the storyline goes, what thoughts do you guys have?
It was okay. It was mediocre. It was entertaining. It wasn't a bad story. It's just the fact that you paid tribute to Trini, then all of a sudden you paid tribute to also Jason David Frank, and then there were certain Rangers that were missing that wasn't there. Sorry, it is a non-spoiler.
No, it's a spoiler-filled review. Go for it.
Oh, this is so we had Kimberly that was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? It was a couple of Power Rangers.
Well, Austin St. John as Jason, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, yes, Jason David Frank, which, mind you, the show did use some of their original audio from the show in order to incorporate that, hey, they were taking up the mantle for one reason or another still, which I guess kind of makes sense because even with Jason David Frank, when you've seen him appear in, like, later episodes or, like, stuff from, new seasons that tried to incorporate old Rangers, you always had him showing up as the Green Ranger. So the fact that he like reverted back to it, even when he was the White Ranger, even when he was the Zeo Red Ranger, even when he was the Black Dino Ranger, it's like, it makes sense because there was never any other Green Ranger and that iconic look with the shield and everything. Okay, fine. So he reverted back. Obviously, I don't think there was really any necessary reason to say, oh, hey, didn't they kill Zordon and like everything blew up and there was like other enemies and there's no reason to go into how everything recovered because this is a nostalgia act. This is the same thing as like in wrestling when you bring back Goldberg or Hulk Hogan or something, only less traumatic. It was certainly something to definitely pay homage to Tree Trang, who did die at a very young age. That they never addressed it. And I'm sure for the original cast, it's something that kind of like always hung over them. And also, I think it was also a very smart idea to have Billy and Zach really be like the front runners of his team, because I would say out of the original cast, their roles and the treatment that happened to them on and off set probably made them feel a little marginalized. So it was nice to give them like the final hoopla of this particular era of Rangers that maybe they should have gotten when they were younger.
So more likely a redemption story, pretty much.
Yeah, and mind you, it does show that maybe these guys haven't been working in a while. You know, I mean, the acting and everything, it's as campy as you can expect. It's just now they're, the wrinkles are showing. That's all. Though I would definitely say Walter Jones, his version of Zach on this show, I really like the energy he brought with it. I would definitely want to see more from him as, like, say, like a mentor sort of thing. Because at this point, now that they have a new Yellow Ranger in Trini's daughter, it would be nice to maybe see something where they kind of like hand over the torch to a new group in this Angel Grove that apparently has been stuck in time because still the smoothie shop was as 90s as hell. Oh my god. Like, they couldn't update any of that.
Wait. They did update something. I will say that.
What did they update?
The actual fight scene with the actually Zords.
Well, yeah, no, that was definitely more
you can tell it was more
CGI
and all
and a
that,
guy in a suit.
Well, that was to be expected 30 years later.
Although I would dare say the CGI is still kind of like paled in comparison to what you might see in like current iterations of Rangers. I would say stuff like Dino Fury and Ninja Steel has probably had better CGI. This almost is like comparable to like the CGI they had in like the first feature length movie when they were fighting Ivan Ooze. It was just like right on that.
But it was much smoother. I could say that. It was.
They got it up to 60 frames per second. Good for them.
I don't think their budget was particularly high on this. I think it was a quick cash grab that people were like, okay, it kind of worked. Now, for the record, the Blue Ranger was always my favorite Ranger on several fronts. One, because of the fact I like the color schematic, but also because Billy Yost, as a character was just
played Billy.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but Billy Jost and also Billy the character, but Billy Cranston, if you will.
Yes.
They were more of my personality type. I mean, listen, I liked him a lot better once he dumped the glasses. When he had those glasses, that was like nerd level 27. Like way up the top. But he was always my favorite Ranger because he was part of the group, but he wasn't like the standout guy. Here, I like it because I liked in this case, you got what you see where they're at now. One of them was a senator. The other one had his own business. They have, Cranston Industries, by the way, which I think would be a great T-shirt. And it was nice. There were some hangups with this that I think basically I was looking at this and scratching my head. Like, you didn't pregame how to tell the kid her mom died until you got into her living room.
Like, again, some
you think you basically have this conversation on the drive over?
No, but I mean, again, this was not necessarily like Shakespeare that they were trying to do here.
It wasn't.
They were trying to make things as conceivable as possible. Look, be thankful that they actually recognized the fact that they destroyed Zordon in the end of this iteration, and they've been searching for him ever since. And that's why they were able to pick up Rita. Which I think was actually a very clever way of bringing back in the character without necessarily having to bring in the actual actor for the character.
Right.
Well, to me also, weirdly enough, this actually had some feels of Age of Ultron to it. Because Ultron was created by by Iron Man, by Tony Stark. So in some ways, I see a comparison a little bit here.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it took over in Alpha and then like truly integrated into this thing.
Yeah.
Although they have really leaned on the mythos of Rita and Lord Zed for a long time in this franchise. Like, they just recently, a couple of years ago, brought back Lord Zed. Just out of the blue. And then I remember it was the season Operation Overdrive where they had like a 2-episode arc where they brought in other Rangers, which I think where they started using the phrase once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And it was different ones. I think they actually brought in Adam as the Black Ranger from the Mighty Morphin era on that one. And that was apparently the main villain for that 2-hour story arc was the love child of Zed and Rita. And I'm like, ew! Oh no, I don't want to think
Dude,
about the two having a child.
they share. Listen, those two teamed up, and they there was an episode where basically they were sharing a bed, and Lord Zed got and Zed got up out of bed.
Oh, thank God I'm drinking.
You know,
Oh,
but
but
yeah,
yes, I also did like that they had this callback for uh what was it? It was Aisha,
yeah,
Yeah.
Aisha and
Aisha and
Adam
Adam.
and
And
Broly. By the way, let's
notice
point out Broly.
they were on Space Patrol Alpha, which is
Mhm.
of course a nod to Space Patrol Delta, obviously a different district of that futuristic arc. So that is all still canon as well.
Right.
And even some of the other Rangers that they got to power this machine of Rita's, it was all different versions of like different Rangers from different eras, including
Yeah.
the most recent, which was Beast Morphers. So I mean, it's nice to know that these things are all still connected one way or another. So even the fact that it's been a very long time since we've seen the old diamond outfits on some people, it's still all connected. And you know, it kind of does play into this whole idea. You'll talk to people on the convention circuit. These actors, whether they're old or new, it's all a family. Like once
Mhm.
you become a ranger, you are truly integrated into like this not so secret society of actors who have gone ahead and kept this franchise going for like 3 decades. You know, it's a
Most of them,
very
anyway.
special thing to
Yeah.
acknowledge and to be like, hey, even this one person who maybe had like the 1 or 2 seasons at the beginning who died off, we still remember them. They still
Mhm.
connect to us just as much as the flagship hero of Jason David Frank.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that really did mean something. If you look at it beyond the hokiness and the
Yes.
cheesiness that it was, you see where they're really trying to talk about.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this was not, as you mentioned before, this was not by any means Shakespeare. You know, this felt in a lot of ways like a 55-minute episode. Um, you know, where the script sometimes makes no sense. It felt rushed at certain points, but you know what you're getting out of it. And to a degree, I kind of like that
Right.
because it fit what you were familiar with. You know, sometimes you get a special like this, they go too far off the beaten path, but you know, killing off Trini right in the beginning on this gives closure to that character 20 years after the fact.
Right.
I did. I knew that part already. There's something a little bit later that I actually got me a little bit emotional and actually almost teared up a little bit later on. But as far as that goes, it kind of
Well,
made sense.
no. Tell us what
Okay,
teared you up?
do you remember at the very end when they had the archive of Kimberly singing?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
and then
remember that.
you had both her and also Jason David Frank, and it said once and always. I was like, okay, it got me right at that moment. It really
Yes.
did. You
Right.
know, because it was so it did. I figured they were going to do some kind of a quick thing because Jason David Frank was still alive. I think when they were filming this, but I figured they were going to throw something up there. They did, and by God, it worked. And I was like, oh, because you guys know this part of it when you work in the industry. There are certain people that you just wish you had the opportunity to chill with, to hang out with, and chat with. Jason David Frank was one of mine. I would have loved to have been able to. He struck me as the kind of guy you can just talk about anything with, and his death felt selfishly kind of like a missed opportunity to me.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure a lot of people probably think like that now, looking back and seeing this and probably thinking like what could have been. Because
Yeah.
I would dare say the opportunities that like that right there that they where they brought back what was it was it the Ranger War or whatever it was that they brought back like all those Rangers, but
Mhm.
only like 5 or 6 of them actually.
They did have that massive crossover. Yeah.
Yeah, back when they were trying to like reboot the franchise and they tried using the original theme song again, but then they tweaked it just a little bit. Um, wasn't a fan of that series, but I get what they were trying to do, and they've squandered almost the good name of Jason David Frank as of late. I would say the last real time you got like a flavor of him was probably back in the one season where he became the Black Ranger.
Mhm.
What was that? That was uh, Dino Thunder. I think it was Dino Thunder, if I'm remembering correctly. My Ranger knowledge is like just so scattered.
You're better than me, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, no, because it's been owned by so many people. It's like I'm trying to think about like after RPM, that's where my mind just flatlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, like I said, I don't have the knowledge that you guys have on this. I was already 17 years old when the show came out. And I remember having a conversation at my Nick job with some lady who was furious at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in 1993, talking about how it was going to corrupt America's youth. And there's never going to be anything worse on television than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. You see what happened with that now. Thank you, lady.
MILF Manor has entered the chat. Dude, I actually, for different reasons, I actually had to look up MILF
Dude,
Manor.
if they ever come, that's the thing. Everyone always talks about, like, you know, the minute you get anyone like multicolored on the screen, like, you know, there's the pink dressed one, there's the orange dressed one, there's the black dressed one. Everyone always makes like the Power Ranger comments. I think the last time we saw anything like that in Book of Boba Fett, the Scooter Squad.
Yes, the third episode.
Yeah, I actually did a redub of like that whole chase scene.
Respect.
But I did it to like I think the Power Rangers Turbo theme.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably find that on YouTube.
Power Rangers Turbo Go. Power.
Yeah.
How do I know that?
The intros were very catchy and everything,
Yeah.
but always
they were banging. They were awesome. So, one thing I did say that can I just throw out one more thing before I give it back to you guys?
Sure.
I loved it. I loved it. I saw that. It's a funny thing. I learned something today about Netflix. Netflix will not allow you to screen grab because it gets a black screen. I didn't know that until tonight because I actually saw this and I'm like, that was such a quick, simple, great nod. Because these two, Jason Nervy and I think Paul Schreiber, I forget his name is.
Paul Schreiber, yeah.
Yeah, the two guys, Bulk and Skull. In real life, these guys were stupid close friends. Mm-hmm. They were very, very tight. You know, they were actually each other's best friends for years. I think they're godmother or godfather to each other's kids and everything. And it was nice to see a simple little nod like that before somebody went through that sign to show where they're at right now. You know, and the fact that they've got this, I would almost call it Laurel and Hardy look to them. I think nice.
Kind of. I mean, the last time I saw them, again, it was that same season where they tried to reboot the franchise again. Mega Force, that's what it was.
Right.
Power Rangers Mega Force, where they actually had Bulk, kind of like tutoring Skull's young son.
Kid, yeah.
And then
because Jason Narvi left the series for real.
At the very end of the series, he like came up in a limo and picked him up and everything. So like Skull's doing good.
Yeah,
the fact that they actually have like this food company, it's like it really fits perfectly, especially when I think there's been scenes of like the two of them holding a sub and it just like it got
but yeah. Well, originally, I mean, the characters were kind of, you know, douchebags in the series, and then obviously mellowed out and became quasi allies and likable characters throughout. Interesting fun fact, and we're going to talk a little bit about the unaired pilot a little bit later, but Jason Nervy was not the original Skull. There was another guy who has a long career and like 40 years as a stunt guy in Hollywood. You know, Fast and the Furious movies. You know, a lot of stuff that was out there. But we'll get to what the pilot was a little bit later, I think. But yeah, nice continuity nod, absolutely.
Yeah, and they didn't have to do that. That's the funny thing. It's like the simple fact that they're trying to keep like this almost MCU quality of timeline. And make sure that like everything counts. They don't need to because this is a kids show. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't try to incorporate anything from the movie, but it's nice. You know, this is a show that knows who its fans are and cares about what exactly they're putting out to their fans, and know that they may not have the biggest budget. God help them if they ever did have a big budget. That would be ridiculous what they would pull out. Mm-hmm. But they know what they can do, so they can do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question to you is obviously, you know, here's a good, you know, most of the group here, Rocky, Billy, Cat, and obviously, you know, Walter Jones. I'm drawing a blank on the character. You know, I'm not sure if, you know, about this, but I don't think these guys are working a lot. Do you think you're going to have sequels to this?
I think they'll probably make a cameo appearance, no offense, because I do see Rocky at times. Mm-hmm. At New York Comic Con,
right?
But acting, I'm saying, are they doing anything right now?
As of right now, no.
Yeah, check their IMDb, see if they have anything coming up.
Working on it. Yeah,
I like I would say, I mean, if you did anything, I would probably say maybe keep Zach and Billy as a mentor role,
yeah,
because certainly, uh Zach being as prominent as he is in Trini's life, and then Billy being, the science with, which, I'm sorry, okay, I do have to say this one thing because this is just gonna drive me nuts. So Cranston Tech, his multi-technical company and everything, is apparently right on top of the old command center that they had, which got blown up and whatever. None of the employees are supposed to know about this thing that's underneath them, and yet they're not asking themselves why this huge tech company is out here in the middle of a desert on top of a mountain away from everything. Oh, it's just an aesthetic choice. Now, they don't know where the power bill's coming from. They don't know where, like, oh, there's a downage in Sector 5. It's like, someone check the basement. There seems to be another basement. Don't worry about another basement.
Well, I'm going to throw one other thing out there. And this, like I said, it's not just suspension of disbelief, it's full out expulsion. You have a prominent senator who quits his job to move in with a young girl. Remember, you got in the real world, you have tabloids and paparazzi who would look at that and have some suspicion involved. Why is he doing that? It's like, okay.
Well, it makes me wonder, what's he doing in the meantime for work? Like, is he the mayor of Angel Grove? Is he working in politics?
That's a fair point, actually. What do you know?
At least Billy's got a job. He runs a company.
He runs a company. I think Kat had some kind of a dance studio or something.
Yeah, which I don't think we're going to see Kat anytime soon, because unfortunately, she did end up marrying Tommy.
Yeah, there was
unless they do something for Tommy,
yeah,
which I think would probably be even harder, because now you have a kid involved that's probably a lot younger than Trini's daughter. So how do you incorporate that? What kind of feels are you going to go for that one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So the movie that
Walter Jones.
Yeah, Walter Jones was in, and the movie just came out, and I heard it kind of flopped. House Party.
He was in House Party?
They did a reboot of House Party.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm thinking. The one with the LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize he was in that.
But see, to be fair though, he went into that movie. He played a character. He played Walter Jones. He basically, for all intents and purposes, played a character of himself.
No,
so
but
it's not like he really did a movie.
He's still putting his face out there.
I suppose, yeah, but yeah, he's pretty short on the stuff here.
Yeah, like, I know on occasion they've done other films outside of things, and usually when a Ranger's gone ahead and like made a movie, they'll cast other Rangers to act in the movie in order to like keep themselves going. Which, fairness, we do that here in Jersey too. I mean, we have a small little film community where it's like, if we have a show or a movie that we're trying to do, whether it's full length or short, or whatever have you, we
actually
it wasn't Kimberly. They actually said the kid's name.
Kami. Kami. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. But anytime that you have like this little conglomerate of people that want to do something, you can always lean on them to get something done and to like fill in roles and stuff like that. So the idea of the Rangers doing these side projects that may not necessarily be Ranger-esque, but are certainly maybe at least like action adjacent or like, karate adjacent, so that this way they actually use what they've gained over time. It's not unheard of. It's just a simple fact that I don't know. I mean, they've been doing Ranger shows all the way through, up to the latest one, which I guess if maybe in a year or so they don't decide to like actually harp on one of the Sentai shows that's already still in the mix over in Japan, they can go ahead and try to do like an Americanized reboot and just try to like, the next generation, sort of thing. But don't call it that, because that's a terrible title. They tried that for Ninja Turtles, and that didn't work so well.
Well, he did a series called Life After Power Rangers, and it looks like he had a lot of Power Rangers in various forms in this thing.
Yeah, so I mean, there is something to it if you wanted to go ahead and get like a a young group to don the old school costumes because
which they might do for sequels. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to see a full series of it, but if they wanted to do like a feature length film that kind of like continued on the story or something like that, maybe like a 2-3 episode run length time. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, right now you have a broadcast like Netflix where you can do something like that, and Netflix shells out money for damn near anything.
Yeah.
You
There's
can
a
do
test pattern
that,
channel
and
in
you
there
can
too.
post it up there, and it can run on and on and on like they do now with the original series and certain spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Not every single season of Power Rangers is on there because I think of like the owning rights because Nickelodeon owned them at one point, Disney owned them at one point. It's like trying to amass all of that together is kind of like trying to amass like all of the Marvel movies. Like just now, they finally got the Spider-Man movies over on Disney Plus. It's going to take some time if you really want one network to showcase everything. But it's possible, certainly possible. And I think this shows that there's been enough goodwill towards this that even if they want to do it for like next year or wait until the 35th anniversary, which I don't know if you want to wait that long because
No, I think they'll milk that teat as much as they can here.
yeah, no, they're not spring chickens or anything, but yeah, it is certainly possible. This shows that even after all this time, there was still enough love, even for the original, let alone any of the seasons that followed, which I think at this point, you probably have those people. It's like everyone has their own favorite season and thus their own favorite Ranger and everything. There's enough people in that universe to glom onto.
I guess also when you think about something like this, the amount of Power Rangers that are out there across 30 some odd years, it may not be difficult to pull a lot of them in. It's almost in some way, it would almost be similar to Cobra Kai, where you have these actors who've been out for a little while. The guy who played Mike Barnes or the guy who played Chosen. I can't remember the names, but you know where I'm going with this.
Right.
You have this, this plethora of, and by the way, credit to this, by the way, they could have absolutely member buried the snot out of this thing. But they gave you just enough so you felt the feels, but without overdoing it and feeling saturated. So credit to that.
Right.
But there's enough characters out there. The problem is, I am venturing to say very, very heavily, this was a non-union project. So if you got any SAG people that are on Fight Corps, you're going to run into a problem because they're not going to be able to do this project without SAG being up their ass immediately.
Well,
So
don't worry, there'll be a strike coming soon.
What's that?
I said, don't worry, there'll be a strike coming soon.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Oh
boy,
what strike?
The writer's strike is coming possibly next week.
And from there, possibly the directors, and from there, possibly the Actors Guild.
Yeah. Next week, the writer's strike may happen. The last time that happened was 2007. There was no productions for 100 days. And basically, if that's okay, then after that, then we have the Directors Guild strike, which would be starting June 1st. And if that goes through, then we have the SAG possible strike in July 1st. I am so glad I do this industry for health insurance, and apologies to everyone who just left. I saw the numbers drop as I went into that rant.
But then that means if they do more Power Rangers, they wouldn't need writers. They could just go to like someone's fanfic and put that on.
Listen, you get a non-union writer, you get somebody who's not DGA. Yeah, listen, these guys, assuming that a lot of them are probably non-union, because that's the way the show ran all the way through, especially when they were filming in New Zealand and all this kind of stuff, that should not be an issue. It could be an issue for some, but maybe not for some. But I think they can milk this teat for probably 4, 5, 6 movies until we're completely saturated, burned out on it, much like we are Star Wars now. So they can do something with it. But for these guys, it's a paycheck. And they don't have to go to conventions, sit there, sign autographs, and do shout outs to companies like mine. Thank you, Catherine Sutherland.
Yes. And Serena Vincent.
And also, I was like,
I have to say, Serena Vincent's my favorite Ranger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one got a lot of views because of her appearance. Actually,
not necessarily just from Ranger stuff either, but from Cabin Fever.
Yes, that's also part of it. Yeah, I did throw that in there when I put the descriptions on, I think. But like I said, I think there's a lot that can be done. Now, I do have one question in this arena that I wanted to ask you guys.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the picture. Just bear with me a moment. Where is that? There we go. We'll go with that one. You remember her?
No.
I do remember seeing this originally, yes.
She was the original Yellow Ranger. Audrey Dubois was 25 years old and was signed on to be the Yellow Ranger for the TV pilot. If you want to watch a Power Rangers episode that's more cringe than anything, watch the original pilot. Trust me on that. Oh boy, But in this case, she asked for too much money after the pilot, so they fired her, and then the rest is history.
Imagine if they did try to do something more with Rangers and they brought in Audrey Dubois as like the next villain.
You know, I don't know whatever happened to this woman. She had like a couple of IMDb credits afterwards, but
yeah, see, that's the other thing. It's like at least they went ahead and got actors that were like still capable. You know, it's not like the Rangers actors have like ever really let themselves go. They're always pretty much still fit enough. They're always still capable, and it means a lot that they're actually going ahead and doing something a little bit more, active even after all these years. It shows that they're still always ready for it.
Yeah, that's her entire IMDb, by the way.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's all there is, dude.
So one thing back in '99, and then one thing in 2014.
Yeah, and seeing the Giants. Ironically, as I was reading this, eventually people like Jason David Frank, Austin St. John, whatever played Kimberly and all that, they were eventually
Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah, thank you. They were eventually let go because they asked for too much money, but they did it after a couple of seasons. So
yes, that's when they went off to be ambassadors at the global conference
in space. Yes, but yeah, so she asked for it. She got canned. The Tui Train came in, and then the rest is history, including this most recent movie. Whoops.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people always had like that stigma. It's like, oh, once you do Power Rangers, that's pretty much all you do. And that's not necessarily true. Certainly there have been actors that have gone on and had much more flourishing careers. One that comes to mind is obviously Johnny Young Bosch, who has had a great career in voice acting. You've got Rose McIver from Power Rangers RPM, who went on.
I can't pull them up fast enough, so you're just going to
lots of great acting, especially on Once Upon a Time. We talked about Serena Vincent. It's all just about like what you decide to do from that show. I mean, it could be a stepping stone, or it could be your only stone. It's almost up to you.
Right.
It's almost like when you become like an indie person. I'm going to use a lot of Kevin Smith's people. And obviously I'm not talking Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, they got out of there, and Jason Lee, but like Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, Marilyn Gigliotti, Scott Schiaffo, people that have done multiple projects with him, but kind of got stuck with him, as it was.
Yeah, it depends on if you want to like just milk the teat for all it's worth, or go on and do other things.
Yes.
Speaking of Brian O'Halloran doing other things, Rob's here.
Yeah, Rob.
Yes.
Hi guys, I'm in a place that is no sound, so we're good.
Let me try and bump up that audio.
Are you in a library?
No, I think he's. Go ahead.
I'm at work.
Yeah, see, that's
nobody
what I was concerned about a little bit. So
that's what. But I turned out a plan, but I made sure it got turned on. So we're good.
All right,
yeah, and it's still bugging me with the short hair and everything. And now you kind of got like a Scott Eastwood sort of thing going on. You do. Look on IMDb and look up a picture of Scott Eastwood, and now compare it to his visit, just like come over. I'm telling you, it's there.
Damn, that is a good-looking man.
That's Scott Eastwood.
I wish I looked like that.
So do I.
I mean, grow the beard, man. Grow the beard.
Yeah, that is a man pretty individual.
Yeah. See there, it shows a little bit more.
I tried to find a picture without a beard there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you got to find him with a crew cut. And that'll make more sense.
But, well, listen, I think we got the picture at this point. I think we're okay.
Well, it could have been worse. You could have been Liam Hemsworth, and obviously then Dave would just shoot off.
Yeah, but then you get Miley Cyrus. You get killed in.
No. It's just anytime you mention him, you know how Davion gets.
Yes. There's a certain Witcher situation.
Right, the whole show will have to take like a 3-minute pause for Dave to compose himself.
Oh, look at what I'm wearing, guys! I just realized it.
No one cares. No, I'm kidding.
Cowboy Bebop.
Spike smoking a cigarette.
Spiegel.
So was my hear me good?
Well, I mean, since you're originally the person that mentioned that whether or not we should talk about Once and Always, what were your thoughts on the show? I mean, we pretty much talked about it ad nauseum, but we did want to make sure you have your time to say what you thought about the series.
I gave it a 7.
Don't do it.
Point.
Don't do it.
No, guys, no. Focus. Let Rob talk.
5 out of 10. And it was nice because the Power Rangers. Sutherland did a shout out for the podcast. Did a shout out for the podcast.
And thank you for that.
Yes, no, that's no problem. Got to meet them, but I haven't his autograph. I haven't his autograph. So majority of them want to watch it, and probably talk.
All right, Rob, I'm just going to tell you right now, your microphone is kind of like going in and out.
Yeah, we're struggling here.
Hold on. Let me do this.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Far.
Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah, this is actually why I sent you that message, by the way. I was concerned about the connectivity when you were in there.
Okay. Dang it. So can you hear me? Or you can't?
Yeah, we can hear you. It just looks a little
you're on
delayed.
A bit of a delay, though.
But we hear you better.
Oh, okay. Because I took off my headphones. Say is basically I gave it a 7.5. You guys probably talked about this, but longer. It being only 50 minutes for something that's been hyped up. It would have been nice if they could have gave us more of an hour and a half, kind of. Or the other I know thing that was interesting is one of my friends pointing out that Johns did the voice for Jason for the Red Ranger, but Steve did. He's thinking Steve Cardellis. I haven't been able to find anything on that, but that was an interesting thing that because I looked up who voiced, because you do hear Jason, but according to my
friend, yeah, we talked about that. I think it was just the fact that they used like old audio. Yeah, because I know something about I think they had reached out to Austin St. John and Amy Jo Johnson about wanting to appear, so this way they got the core 4 along with Jason David Frank.
Right.
But I think it was just a matter of whether or not it's through their scheduling or whatever, so they weren't able to do it. But obviously, in the terms of the story, it mattered to actually have some of them captured, so they still had to be present. And I think something we're going to be seeing later on with certain AI technology and stuff, where it's you don't necessarily need the actor. All you need is their voice sample, and you can go ahead and present them in a way. And really, Power Rangers was one of the first shows that made voiceover very prominent outside of cartoons, because you needed a lot of voiceover to redub a lot of the action that you were seeing that wasn't originally filmed in the US. All that Japanese footage that was still from the show, whether it was the Rangers themselves or the Zords or whatever, you needed to do a lot of Foley and a lot of overcast, a lot of voices to make that stuff work. Otherwise, it wasn't going to mesh. So they probably have a huge library of just the guys recording themselves, and they can pick and choose from that.
You don't even need their voices, because if I'm not mistaken, Jason David Frank's been talk at all. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't hear him talk.
No, I think the only time you heard anything of his was when he was fighting, but he has such a signature sound when he fights. It's those voices that he makes when he does a kick or something, that is signature. That is him and him alone. You can't imitate that. So yeah, you had to use that audio, even if it was just fight audio. But you could always tell it was different from whoever was actually in the suit or whoever the character was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's probably some nod there.
Yeah, but that was my quick thoughts on it. Was basically I enjoyed it. Something that I suggest people watching if they grew up with the show, just for that. Now, will we ever see them all again? Probably not. Our only time that this was their nod, because they're bringing everything's getting that sequel or whatever, 30 Years Gun Maverick and all that.
Fair.
So yeah.
Now, I'm going to interject with that. You say you don't think we're going to see them again.
Them united again. No, I don't.
United again? Okay, I can agree with you on that. See some of them back on television as mentors? Yes.
Yeah.
I could basically see that, like, because you got to bring old nostalgia and mentor the new.
I mean, in
Billy
theory,
was half a
theory
mentor later on too, but
it's the end where they're like, oh, there's hope that spoilers, but there's hope that maybe they might do the quest of trying to get Zordon back, or that's his name, right? The guy, David Fleming's character. Yeah, how did that towards the end? And I don't know if that was their way of saying, oh, there could possibly the vibes I got, but that's just my take from that.
Well, yeah, you do bring up a good point, because outside of like the whole like, okay, now there's a new Yellow Ranger, so it's like this young girl with these 4 old people or 5 old people that are still playing Ranger. The fact that they actually tied into the whole thing that happened from Power Rangers in Space, where now they're still on the look for Zordon. Like 25 some odd years later, they're still searching for Zordon. That could be something. I mean, it may not necessarily need to be a show that's like anchored in Angel Grove like the original was, but Power Rangers Zordon Squad or something like that, where they go ahead and they're trying to like tie up this one loose end because like the granddaddy of the Morphin grid may still be out there somehow. That's a story. That's something where you can incorporate a lot of like older Rangers coming back into it, because without Zordon, there'd be no Morphin Grid and there'd be none of these spinoffs. So yeah, absolutely, that personally works.
Well, hey guys, thank you very much for letting me come on. At least give my quick opinion about it. I'm gonna go ahead and some lagging issues, and that's because of Walmart's Wi-Fi.
He's getting paid to talk right now. I just want to point that out.
But it's all good. Yeah, that was my quick tea on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Go give it a watch. I do like the thing they do at the very end about the whole tribute. So that was a nice. Had me tear up a little bit because I've met Jason David Frank first at a convention, and he was always down to earth stuff. And one is I'm excited for September's when we get the Legends of the White. What would have been Jason's 50th birthday?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It's coming, and Jenna Franks, which is his daughter, plays his movie. So it looks really good to me about it at Lexington Con when I got to meet her. So yeah, looking out for that. That's Legends of the White Dragon, and then that comes out on JDF's birthday, and it'll be all theaters, but they said they're gonna release it in theaters.
Nice.
So
yeah, no, it's probably gonna be like a Fathom event sort of thing, like a 1-2 day thing.
Oh, maybe it'll be in there for a week or two. It'd be nice.
Maybe we'll probably hear about something about it come CinemaCon time this week.
Certainly possible.
So, guys, much love. I'm gonna see you guys, and
we'll talk tomorrow.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Be good, man.
Yeah.
See you, man.
All right. So, on that note, did you want to move on? Do you have any other final thoughts on this, or do you want to move over to the other thing?
No, I think we can move over to the other thing.
Oh my God, no!
Will you put that away?
No, Jesus.
That's not the thing.
I was about to say, what's the other thing? And then he shows me that.
That's not the thing.
Da, 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 da. By the way, Ryan, you're going to roll with this one, I think.
Yes. This was just news that came to my attention today, and mind you, here at Stream Punk Entertainment and Tales from the Film Set, we do like to talk about things going on in the tri-state area as far as film and television is concerned, whether it be stuff in New York, stuff in Jersey, or in this case, Pennsylvania. Now, Bam Margera, who we all know from his time in Jackass and Viva La Bam, and there was that whole few years where him and his people dominated MTV.
Yeah.
Like they had one spinoff or another.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah. Back when Ryan Dunn was still alive, unfortunately,
I miss him.
They had Rake and Weeman, and it was fun times. It was degenerate times. It kind of made the whole goth rock thing kind of cool, where everybody wanted to go to Hot Topic, all that good stuff. It's only been in more recent years. I think it was certainly noticeable back when Jackass Forever came out last year, that Bam has kind of been on the outs with the guys due to his abuse of substances and alcohol and everything like that. Some may say he still never got over the death of Ryan Dunn, considering he saw him that night and everything. So Bam's been through some stuff. And we always do hope that he gets better, maybe one day joins the group and everything. But I have a statement here from the Pennsylvania State Police.
I'm trying to pull it up, but you got it perfect.
For as of today, State Police issue arrest warrant for Brandon Bam Margera. It goes as such from the Pocopson Township in PA. On April 23rd at 11 a.m., troopers from the PSP Avondale station, not necessarily docks where Bam and his people live, of course, responded to a 400 block of Hickory Hill Road in Pocopson Township, Chester County, for a reported disturbance. The investigation determined Brandon Bam Margera, age 43, which I was surprised. I thought he was going to be older, from Thornton, Pennsylvania, was involved in a physical confrontation with the victim, who suffered minor injuries. Bam fled into a wooded area prior to the arrival of PSP and has not been located at this time. An arrest warrant out to District 50, Kansas State, issued for Margera. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact PSP Avondale for a non-emergency number. So, yeah, as of right now, as of this message, Bam Margera is on the lam in the woods of Pennsylvania, hiding out from the police. Now, most stars would just go ahead and be like, okay, arrest me, let me get my lawyer, try to smooth it all over. No, Bam literally goes on the lam and is hiding out in the woods of Pennsylvania.
Dude, you can get lost in there for weeks.
It's like, you almost want to think this is like a bit. You want to think this is like almost staged for a new show or a comeback or something. But yeah, after just having a physical altercation with somebody, which I think is probably like the least of the issues that Bam has suffered over the years, he's running into the woods so he doesn't get locked up. It's like, if I wish he has a camera on him. I hope he's recording all this. That's how messed up this is.
Well, it basically in this case here, not only did he punch the person, but I'll kill you, I'll put a bullet in your head, accuse punching the person in the face and grabbing them by the arm, and threaten to kill everyone in the house. So that's apparently what we've got going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Bam hasn't exactly been going through the best right now. Whether, like I said, probably due to alcohol addiction or drug abuse or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Have you? Now you're showing that picture of him, which is obviously from The Last Stand. I think from back when that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie came out. Show him a recent one.
Is that better?
No, not that recent. No, that's not recent.
That's like
worse.
He recovered.
No.
I've got the
picture they're
now.
showing does not show him looking like he recovered. The picture they've been showing him lately has him looking like a potato. All right.
Okay.
Search Bam Margera recent.
Yeah, I am, but it's being dumb.
Hold on, no, I'll try to bring it up myself, because when I saw the picture of him, I'm like, yeah, he's in a bad way.
There we go.
No.
And that's not Bam Margera right there. That's not him.
No, that's the producer of Jackass
All right.
on the left.
Oh boy. You know, I
Hold
had
on. I'll
I
bring
had
it
a
up.
great one, but it was being dumb on me.
Margera
All right.
police.
I'm gonna keep trying here. Gonna keep trying.
You're getting close. You're getting close. Here we go. I think we got it from the Daily Loud. This was what they used for.
You want to put the link in below, or you know what? If you got it on the phone, that's fine. Give me a sec.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
kind of reminds me of Artie Lang.
I know, right? Like, he's up there, man. Bam is in a bad way.
You know,
I mean, so much so that he was originally supposed to be part of Jackass Forever, which I would say was a commercial success as far as like what it took, and it certainly revitalized the brand. But he got fired from that set, and whatever stunts he did for them, they cut out of the movie because they did not want him to be a part of it in any way, shape, or form. And I think when you're an actor or a performer or whatever, and not only do you get let go of the project, they don't even want you to be acknowledged in the project.
Mm-hmm.
He must have did something really messed up.
That's like Kevin Spacey levels. That's like get somebody in here to take over and redo his lines.
I was gonna say Eddie Furlong, because he filmed scenes for Terminator 3 before he was fired.
Fair,
Yeah.
I'd say that, but yeah. You almost have to like you have to laugh, but you also have to worry. Now, obviously,
I'm more the second than the first.
Yeah, we've seen things where it's like actors have gone ahead and done some things in real life, and it's put a red flag over them. We've seen it with Ezra Miller. We're seeing it lately with who's the one from Creed and Quantumanium.
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, yeah.
Oh boy, that's a story. Oof.
Yeah, the people are the news is still out on that. Everyone's dropping him all of a sudden, even though his lawyer said, "Oh, we've got testimony, we've got video evidence."
Yeah, his management company's dropped him too.
Yeah,
that dude. The world was that dude's oyster.
Yeah, and right now it's falling out of his hands.
Yeah,
right.
Nicely put.
But even then, I'd say Ezra and Majors have at least gone about it in the most dignified way possible, where all you can do is get your people to do the work and hope that your work shines through well enough that people will forget what's going on in real life. Bam Margera, unfortunately, does not have that luxury.
I don't think. I mean, honestly, I don't think either one of those two do either. I mean, you know what?
Well, I'll tell you right now, because of CinemaCon going on this week, which for those of you who don't know, CinemaCon is basically like the big expo for the film producers like Disney and Paramount and Warner Brothers and all them to showcase to the exhibitors, i.e. theaters, what their slate is for the year and coming up, so that this way they can get theaters excited about showing their movies. I happen to know that this year at CinemaCon, they will be showcasing Flash in its entirety to the people there at CinemaCon in attendance for the Warner Brothers junket. So, though there will be quick reviews about this movie or first impressions, even though there's probably like whatchamacallit, a date and day release sort of thing where it's like, we don't want you talking about this movie until this sort of time comes up. So there will be first reactions to that movie. And if the reactions are good, people aren't even going to be worrying about Ezra Miller choking out someone over in Europe. They're going to be concerned about, hey, The Flash actually sounds good.
You do have the Mark Wahlberg effect where you kind of forget what people did back in the day. But here's what I just find odd about this whole thing. You know, Ezra Miller and Flash will be seen. Batgirl will never see the light of day.
Yeah, well,
with an Oscar winner and Brendan Fraser in there. So, but yeah, that just makes me sad because apparently they did a private screening for the crew and then I guess just set it on fire or something like that. But oh, dude.
But yeah, so if you are anyone listening to the show today and you happen to live in the greater Pennsylvania area, be on the lookout
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man? Don't look at the one on the screen. Look at this one. Have you seen this man? He may be out in your woods. He may be skulking around your shed. He may be scaring your dog.
But see, to be fair, he actually looks like somebody who could live in the woods.
All right, he may be armed and dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. If you see this guy, please do not let him in your house. If he wants to use your phone, tell him you can stay out there in the porch. We will make the phone call for you. And that's with anybody, especially him.
If he tries to pull any pranks, call 911 ahead of time. Do not let him accomplish his pranks.
Let the police do their job. Do not be a hero.
And don't go and try to ask for his autograph either.
Can I get a selfie?
If you're a woman, just stay away, period.
But, just be safe. Like, you never know.
Listen, they'll get this thing resolved. Yeah. But you did mention something about the fact that there could be that mental issue going on, with drugs, alcohol, loss. You talk about that. That was in there too.
Right.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like once a person's out of the limelight, it's almost as if they're completely forgotten. I mean, that's part of the reason why I think we have stuff like, conventions and stuff like that, so that these people are still remembered, and rightfully so for some of the work that they do. Like, take, for example, someone like Shelley Duvall that we know has been out of the limelight for quite some time, and it's only now recently that we're hearing about her quote-unquote comeback in a movie, The Forest Hills, that's going to be released later on this year. Also starring Edward Furlong that you had brought up. There's a point where, like, I think certain talent need their redemption.
Who's directing that one? Because this sounds really familiar to me. I think somebody I'm Facebook friends with. Is that Ryan Scott Weber?
No. It's not Ryan Scott Weber. Although Robert is in the film somehow.
Okay.
Robert Luckington.
Yeah, okay. That's why it sounded so familiar to me. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I can tell you in a second. The Forest Hills.
Yeah, but that's what gets the most views. Okay.
Let's see. Who was it? Snow, Sky out to your chair for front. No, it's not him. It's not him.
It's not Goldberg, is it?
I want to say it's Scott. Scott Goldberg. Yeah, I think it's Scott.
Kudos to Goldberg.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Scott. I don't think you have like your profile picture and your background be the movie if it's not you.
Dude, Dee Wallace is in this too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like it's going to be fun. And obviously, once Robert is able to talk about it, I'm sure we'll have him on to do a little single piece.
Oh!
What, you just realized that now?
What's that?
That we could do that?
No, I didn't even hear what you said. You're going to get back to that.
Oh, no. What are you going? Ooh,
the best name in this entire thing, forget Eddie Furlong, Shelley Duvall, or Dee Wallace. Mark Summers.
Oh, wow!
The Double Dare guy is in this.
Wait, are we sure it's the Mark Summers?
I looked it up. Dude, it's Mark with a C. He plays a news announcer. When I clicked on it, it is definitely 100% that face. Every 80s kid knows Mark Summers from all those years on Double Dare.
Wow.
Apparently he's
Double
like an unbridled clean freak, so you had to really like muscle through to not freak out on Double Dare. But dude, if you were in the 80s or in the 90s, that was the show.
Yes.
Kids got messy, parents got messy. They dropped slime on you. You got dirty. Oh, it was great.
I was at the Universal Studios, and that was when me and my uncle at the time had fun. Oh my God, we was actually on Double Dare, but it was like a live show. Wow.
Okay, he had a long career. He did a bunch of other stuff too, but everybody knows him from that.
Yes.
Yeah. He was exec producer of an episode of Bar Rescue. That's weird.
And
he was
Restaurant Impossible.
Okay.
So, audience, your boy is out. I'm gonna leave this show up to these two.
We're probably gonna be pretty close to done also. So,
and I'll see y'all on the next fly.
Yes, and you guys and I will talk tomorrow.
Yes,
about basically everything else with what we got up on the horizon. But we're on a live show, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So.
All right, so y'all definitely keep these two.
Be
these two guys-
gentle. Be gentle. It's just the two of us. So,
Just flail the finger around.
All right, yeah, good one. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
later, man. So,
Oh my god.
all right. I don't know. Did we have anything else at this point, or should we just call it?
Well, considering we are going to still need our lists for next week, as far as
Yes.
things are considered for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, there was something that I wanted to go ahead and bring up to you because I don't know if this will necessarily play in to anyone's records or anything, but considering this was posted out beforehand, if you go on to Nerdist.com, you can actually go ahead and find a topic in which they talk about the odds of which Guardians of the Galaxy character has the best
cheating to me,
odds
dude.
of dying in the movie.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating if it's already out there in the public. Mind you, this is just one publication's opinion.
I see. Oh, I see it now. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And mind you, they are only talking about the actual Guardians themselves. They're not talking about any other characters.
Yeah, they got the rating on what the odds are, and they got a couple at 100%.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily agree with, but
Cosmo the Space Dog, 0.01%. Really, it's even that high? They're not going to kill the dog off.
no, but I mean, certainly some movies have tried.
That's the only reason.
John Wick for one.
That's the only reason I mentioned that one on there, because there's no way in hell that they're going to kill the dog off. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I do agree with a fair amount of these, though.
I differentiate on some of this.
I got some thoughts here, but
although I do like the idea that they're calling Groot Swole Groot. Because he's more muscular and everything in this version. It's like,
yeah,
because there was Baby Groot, there was Teen Groot, now there's Swole Groot.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been growing up over the last 9 years, I guess, since the end of the first movie. Oh my God, it's hard to believe it's been 9 years since the first movie.
And actually, it's kind of funny that they actually have Kraglin as
yeah, I saw that.
Because you never think of him. That's the thing. It's like,
well, that's why with your list of, you're including, some of the sub characters and the B character, not just the Guardians, but the other characters that are there as well.
Right. Which I think is fair, considering this is going to be the last hurrah, and it's not like the Guardians movies are not known for killing people. I'd say out of some other franchises, they probably have a higher death toll than, say, Ant-Man or Iron Man or even Captain America.
I also wonder, and this is, and correct me if you disagree, but the whole deal that happened with James Gunn and DC was public, during all of this, but it probably went on behind the scenes for quite a while, even probably in development of 3. If they had made an unofficial call that he was going to basically get this job without having signed any paperwork because of contracts, I almost wonder if some of that factored into what he was going to do here and just blow up the franchise.
I mean, it's very possible. I mean, right now, WB is already on record, if you look at some reports. WB is blaming James Gunn's hasty revision for the DCU as to the reason that Shazam! Fury of the Gods bombed in the theaters. Struggled. Which, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Because, I mean, the simple fact is, if it was a good enough movie, it would have gone word of mouth. But the fact of the matter is, they kind of nuked it. They didn't use any comic-oriented characters as the villains. It was all original. They didn't really use any of the villains that they teased at the end of the first movie. And the storytelling was rather lackluster. I mean, you can't blame James Gunn for going ahead and having to right the ship, knowing that some of the movies that are still slated to come out, which after this, I think the only other one in the old DC is The Flash and Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, which Lord knows what that's going to be. If for Jason Momoa are true.
That one.
Yeah, and who knows what that's going to be like.
Well, this also sticks to my belief that people are getting burned out on comic book stuff.
Right,
because Shazam 2 made one of the things. I was watching a MatPat video about Super Mario Brothers, the latest film 3 one, and he said, if you all notice all the nostalgia bait and all the cameos and all this kind of stuff, you never saw Samus in there, you never saw Zelda, you never saw Kirby. We talked about Kirby. You never saw these characters show up in the Super Mario Brothers movie in case they pitch it and basically get a deal with somebody other than Illumination. because if they show up in an Illumination project, they're stuck with Illumination that way.
Yeah.
But they deliberately didn't show up in this movie so they can pitch it to other studios. And I thought, oh, see, that's a big game plan right there. And that makes a lot of sense because, again, people are burned out on comic book movies. This is the next thing here.
Right, which I'm thinking as far as Guardians 3, I would not be surprised if James Gunn went ahead and just kind of like nuked the earth as far as things were concerned for that movie, because in all stance, while they are Marvel characters, their use in this particular version of the MCU is probably going to go to the wayside unless they necessarily get picked to partake in someone else's adventures. Kind of like the way they had them used in Thor: Love and Thunder, if only to get Thor going before they disappeared and did their own thing. So if there is going to be any kind of Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of this movie, it's going to be a shell of what it was, but it's going to be just,
it's
utility characters.
Kind of like when basically you had Avengers 2. You had this entire new flux of characters that were the new Avengers at the end of that movie.
Yeah, and that played into Civil War.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
And then that
was the only time you really saw that version of the Avengers was Civil War. And then obviously Scarlet Witch blows up a building and hold up. So it's like
they'll never know what you did for them. No, because you tortured an entire town.
Yeah, so I don't see. Knowing James Gunn movies and just his work on Peacemaker, he is not afraid to just blow up everything.
He has that Lloyd Kaufman mentality in him.
Yeah,
where he's just like,
whom we have interviewed and we have talked to on this show.
And Uncle Lloydie was his mentor. He got to start from that. So that persona.
And Lloyd has almost no loyalty towards characters.
Listen, Lloyd Kaufman told me once he has lost track of how many times he has been fined by SAG. He's like, I don't even know anymore because there's so many violations. Because you know what, he bounces between SAG and non-SAG. He does all this kind of stuff. He's like, I don't even know anymore. I've lost track.
It's a badge of honor.
It kind of is in some ways, but it's funny because his wife is like the director of the Film Guild or something in New York State, like a really highfalutin, high prestige thing, and she's married to like the Toxic Avenger.
but so as far as our competition is concerned, just laying down the rules one more time before we actually have the episode next week. Of the nameable characters or just nameable actors that you see in this movie, you can go to IMDb and check out the entire cast listing. We want your top 5 people that will die in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You scale them 1 to 5, 5 being the least likely to die, kind of like a 50-50 shot. Number 1 being the most likely to die. And the ratings, the points for those people will counterintuitive. So your number 1 is going to be 5 points. Your number 2 is going to be 4, and so on and so forth to number 5, which is 1 point. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the movie of their particular 5 people that have been chosen will have control over Tales from the Film Set as far as we're concerned. And
kind of looking at you.
And we are opening it up to everybody that watches the show. Not just Scott, not just Day, not just me, not just Rob, not just Robert, not just JT. Anybody can go ahead and send us a list. Either email or send it to one of our social medias, and you can participate in this competition. And then if you do better than any of us, you get control of the show for a day. So again, that email that you sent it to is what? streampunkentertainment@gmail.com.
Yeah, streampunk. There's a few. I keep the business ones.
Well, the social media is right below me. So if you want to send it via social media, you can do it through the Discord. You can do it through Instagram. You can do it through Facebook. You can do it through Twitter. If you want to email it and you want to keep it more private, that's particularly fine. We probably will go ahead and send out a video either tomorrow or Wednesday, I'd say, just doing the details of the competition.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. But anyone listening right now, that is the story. That is what you have to do. I already have my list made up.
I haven't.
Well, that shows that you're going to lose. But
probably.
But
I've
yes,
won these
we
competitions
will
many
be
times in the
showcasing
past.
our list next Monday during our episode. So do try to have your list in before
Mhm.
8:30 Eastern Standard Time on May 1st. That way we know that everyone who will participating will have it in before anything is said. So this way we do not mess anyone's choices up.
Mhm.
And is there anything else you wanted to add to that, Scott? Maybe something
No.
to, butter the bread, or grease the spoon, anything that might encourage people to want to participate.
Well, I mean, we've already established that we're going to basically embarrass the snot out of us. I
Yeah, but
think
is there anything else we can do that, propagate people wanting to win?
$50 Amazon card.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that.
Oh yeah. When in doubt, go money.
Well, money talks.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that'll be the competition then.
Apparently, I just threw it right out there. Shit.
Well, all right. Yeah, so participation is free, and if your score beats ours, not only will you get control of the show for a day, but you will also get a $50 Amazon gift card to use at your leisure, probably to buy the movies or any kind of memorabilia. Maybe a helmet for your dog, so this way it can look like Cosmo. Whatever you want.
Gifts for us. You just spend that money right back to us, man.
Yeah, no, I love gifts. My birthday's coming up next month,
Yeah.
so sure.
Mine is not. I think I got 5 months till mine.
You can buy me more beer, so that's always good.
Can I just state for the record, the fact that your birthday is in May makes me jealous, because you got your birthday and then you had like summer vacation right after that as a kid. I had to go through my summer and then restart school to have my birthday.
Trust me, it is not something to be envious of, because do you know how many parties I tried to throw for my birthday that ended up being no-shows and cancellations and everything else because everyone else went away on Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, dude, that sucks. Oh, so it's on Memorial Day weekend itself. I don't
It's
have
around Memorial Day weekend. Depending on the scheduling, it
Oh,
could be
it's all
like
weird.
the last day, first day,
Yeah.
but it's always like about that week time. So this way, it's like people have their plans set up. They're not going to celebrate my birthday.
And here in Jersey, that is the official first shore weekend. Officially.
Yeah, that's
They're
the
starting
unofficial
now,
start of summer. So no one's worried about buying me a gift or getting me a cake or any of that nonsense. They're worried about going to the shore, getting their tan on, and possibly throwing up on the beach.
Yeah. And finding
Which,
someone and get laid. Yeah.
at my age, okay, I get it. But when I was younger, dude, that broke me.
I understand. Dude, I celebrated my 40th birthday all by myself. Don't recommend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait,
35th.
where was your wife?
What's that? Oh, I'd met her yet. Wasn't until next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, 2015. I was on my own. 2010. Yeah, 2005 wasn't too good neither. Yeah, when I turned 30, that was an ugly year. Anyway,
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on birthdays. My 21st birthday, I ended up spending $500 at the Go-Go bar by myself.
ooh, yeah, okay. So,
And no pleasant stories to talk about from it. You'd figure at least with that much money, I would have had some stories. But no!
yeah, that's pretty bad. Even when you have really bad stories, they're still kind of fun in some ways that you can spin them.
No, just blah. Just real blah.
What,
Nothing against the club itself, Breathless. Hey,
Hmm.
great people. But sucks for my birthday.
Was it like basically the end of their shift and they were just kind of tired, phoning it in?
No, I think it was because it was a weekday, so you didn't really have like a lot of activity going on.
You got the B game women.
Yeah, not the BJ game women, just the B women.
By the way, we're still recording, but you know what? I don't fucking care.
Hey, this is the show after dark. Once we go past an hour.
This is after the Spanglish stuff anyway. I'm not even going to use this.
Yeah.
So, fuck ball.
This is all just getting cut out anyways.
Yeah,
but
no, but it's going to stick on YouTube. But anyway, all right, we may as well call this.
But okay, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up, because I'm only one beer today. So I mean, which by the way, shout out, not sponsored, but shout out to Pinelands Brewing Company in Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey.
Okay.
They do some good stuff there.
Nice.
And of course, that's all because I got free beer from the multiple sclerosis benefit that I attended over the weekend.
You got beer at an MS event.
Oh, they have an open bar the whole time, and then they just get too many beers donated to them. So Some of it's donated to the place where we said, and then everyone else is like, "Hey, what do you like?" And we make like a sampler pie.
So you're just like, you know what? Fine, I will bite the bullet. I will take it off your hands. This is my contribution to your charity.
It's not the silver bullet, but I'll take it.
But hey, listen, it's free beer. So anyway,
Not Bud Light.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't care if it's Bud Light. I wouldn't drink it anyway.
But
no light beers for me. Obviously, I'm not a man that does light beer.
Yeah, I'm no Slim Jim myself here. But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up because I think because I'm tired. I need to pee, and I think you might be drunk. So I think we're gonna call it right here.
I'm not drunk. One beer, one.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that doesn't even count.
NG for the show. But yes, let's go ahead. But surprisingly, you have to go to the bathroom. I don't. But yeah, let's go ahead.
64 ounces in the last 3 hours.
Oh, there you go.
And 1 pee. So anyway, that's it for us. Thanks as always for tuning in. I appreciate it. Next week, like I said, it will be Guardians of the Galaxy. Our predictions, our thoughts, basically on what we think is going to happen with that, and see how close we are to what you guys think on that. For myself, for Ryan, Robin Day had to scoot out. That's fine. But thanks as always for tuning in. Appreciate it. And as always, stay